Hi everyone, this is Georgia from imore.com. Welcome to our brand new show focused on everything apps and accessories, from news and reviews to comparisons and how-tos. This is Apps and Accessories Live. It's Sunday, February 5th, and joining us tonight is the co-host of Iterate and the CIO of Nickelfish. It's Mr. Seth Clifford.
Hello, Georgia.
Hello, Seth.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, but Siri, unfortunately, is constantly interrupting. So before I introduce...
Can you keep her from barking while we're talking here?
I know. She's very... I was going to say...
Like all women.
Like all women, she's very difficult to control.
Georgia said that, not me.
Listening service is off. Also joining us is the editor-in-chief of imore.com and my co-host for Zen and Tech, Renee Ritchie.
Hey, Georgia. I'm not going to ask you how you're doing because Seth beat me to that one, but I'll ask you, what are you up to?
I'm about to do a podcast.
Oh, cool. Can I join?
Yeah, you know what? Might as well.
Nice. So, Apps and Accessories Live, number 2. Woohoo!
This is our second one. Here we go.
Before people get confused, we had massive audio failure on the first one, so we have nothing to post. So if you're looking for the first one, sadly, you had to catch it live. We have no soundtrack to give you later. But it's encouragement for people to join us live, right? Because you never know what'll happen.
That's true. If Seth happens to swear, it will not be cut out live.
No.
Not that he would do that.
I wouldn't do that. I'm a consummate professional.
He only uses the profanity of the future.
He's always a gentleman.
Yes.
So February is Fitness Month, and not only do we have awesome videos from Kevin and Phil, we're also giving away an iPad 3. So, Renee, tell me about this.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You can't do that. You can't, introduce Kevin's video, the video for which YouTube was invented, and then immediately cut to an iPad 3. That man was doing... No, he was doing topless aerobics. I'm never airing that.
Oh, we should be airing that. That's exactly what we have to. That's the level of our show.
People would stop watching immediately.
It was a very special video.
Wow. Michael says that he's already lost, from the chat room, he's already lost 6 pounds and 6 inches so far.
Wow.
Jeez, I feel...
lazy.
Really horrible.
Air #lazy.
That's awesome. So how exactly do our viewers participate?
So just go to any of your favorite Mobile Nation sites. It's network-wide. Of course, for you guys, that's just iMore. I mean, there's no other sites, right? But you can go to Android Central, WebOS Nation, WP Central, even crackberry.com, and we have a banner up, and you just click on that. And the idea is to participate, is to set reasonable goals. If you want to get better at cardio, you want to get stronger, you want to, make your diet better. Whatever your goal is to get fitter and healthier in February, you pick it, you put it in the forums, you follow through, and we'll help you, we'll encourage you. And to sweeten the pot, every week we're giving away an iPod Nano. And at the end of February, we're going to give you an IOU for an iPad 3. Whenever Apple announces it, you're going to get it.
That sounds amazing. And they participate through the forums.
Yep.
And just keep on writing up about how they're doing, and you're entered.
Yep, forums.imore.com. We have a brand new health and fitness forum. We have a bunch of Zen and Tech episodes. Actually, Kevin was on Zen and Tech with a ton of questions for Georgia this week. She did an awesome job. And Jeff is going to talk about it next week, about setting some functionality goals as well. It's a network-wide thing. It's going to be fantabulous.
I'm excited.
Me too, and I'm lazy.
I know, I am too. That's going to be one difficult thing. Seth, are you participating? What exactly are your goals?
My goals are basically maintenance. I usually gain weight in the winter, so my goal for the winter, since I've been doing this for a few months, is to actually not gain any winter weight, but to actually just kind of coast through and then hit the spring strong.
Hit it with like a Thor hammer?
I also usually gain a little bit of weight, but I figure it's just to keep me warm.
Yeah, I've actually been, upping my walking and stuff like that, because I know you burn a few more calories when your body's trying to keep warm. So I've been doing longer walks in the cold, and I'm proud of myself because I am criminally lazy. So it takes a lot to actually get out there when it's like 20 degrees.
You are so lazy that there's actually a felony in the state in which you live?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Nice. I'll pay your bill.
And we have also increased the amount of contests and giveaways that we are doing. So the amount of applications, accessories, and gift
Stuff.
certificates. Like we're giving away everything. Besides the kitchen sink, we have pretty much everything for your iOS needs.
Yeah, so all you have to do is go where?
To www.imore.com/contests.
Woohoo.
And check out the site as well, because some contests you might be able to go in more than once. So take a look at the site every day, because we've been having about a contest up every day or two. It's amazing.
We have a plethora of contests.
We have more contests than you could shake a stick at.
Yes, more than Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed McMahon would have a heart attack if he had to pimp all these contests.
Right. Except Ed McMahon won't show up at your house live to give them to you.
Well, okay.
That would be bad.
What a downer. Thanks. We'll have Seth show up instead.
That would
Oh,
be
you don't-
awesome.
You don't want that.
Seth delivers. So Renee, app
Yes.
news.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Apple's been removing the copycat apps from the App Store. Okay, this brings up a whole bunch of questions for me because why? Okay, Renee, go through the story and then I'll ask my big
Okay,
question.
good.
I'm going to rant.
So there was a developer, and I'm putting quotes around the name developer, named Anton Sinelnikov. And he decided it would be fun, amusing, and profitable to make apps with names and icons resoundingly similar to the most popular apps in the App Store. So, for example, instead of Temple Run, he has Temple Jump. He has Angry Ninja Birds, Numbers with Friends. He has Tiny Birds and Plants vs. Zombie, singular. And he was hoping that people who would try to buy the real apps would see his instead, maybe look cheaper, figure it's the same thing, buy it, and scam them out of some money. And interestingly enough, the more people complained about this, the more attention he got and the more sales he got. So he actually profited by the outrage of the interwebs. And it took a while, but Apple has finally removed them. I mean, it took a lot of people complaining about it and finally a couple of articles in mainstream media, but Apple has taken them down.
Okay, well, copycatting is something that we've always seen. We've seen it in applications, you see it in purses and everything else. We see it in iPhones.
Knockoffs.
Or phones, as it can be. But my question, Renee, to you, and maybe to Seth as well, being someone that is in the business and understands this, is why isn't Apple already taking a look and seeing something in the first place as they go through their approval process? And if you see something that's, like Plants vs. Zombie, I can understand if it's a small application that you're copying and you don't understand it, you haven't seen it before, you don't remember it. But everyone knows Plants vs. Zombies, so you can tell that the application is a straight-up copycat. How can that even get through?
Yeah, Seth, how does that even get through?
Well, I would imagine it has a lot to do with the sheer volume of apps that are being reviewed. I mean, it's probably impossible to stay on top of everything, but it's frustrating too because you see stuff that as a regular user of apps, we know the popular ones, and then we see knockoffs, and it's like that's really that's a crappy thing to do, and we recognize it. But people that don't live their lives in the App Store probably wouldn't recognize it right off the bat, and that's kind of the entire goal behind these apps, is to just kind of confuse people and make a quick buck, I guess. And coming from a consumer side, it's annoying because you're not getting what you think you're getting, and coming from a developer side, it's really, really upsetting because people, in addition to the fact that people might not be able to buy your app because they're buying this other one, they may then develop a negative connotation with your app, through no fault of their
Or with
own,
the App Store in general.
or with the App Store in general. Yeah, through the entire process. So it's tricky, and hopefully this will be the kind of thing that we see less and less of. I have a lot of things that I don't like about the App Store, and this is one very big one, but my list is extensive, so that's a whole other discussion.
Well, this is so different from what happened with Stone Loops, right, Renee? Like in Stone Loops, it was about they were saying that they were stealing code, and the games were completely different. I love.
Well, that's all right. So there's three issues going on here. One is blatant rip-off scams. I mean, Apple has a certain a bond of faith with their customers, they're saying that we're going to curate the App Store, we're going to be the gatekeeper, and that's going to ensure you have a better experience. Whereas Google always just said the Android market is open, you can put anything in that you want. So people tend to be more careful and more wary because they know that. They feel safer in the App Store because Apple tells them that they can feel safer. So when they do get scammed, it's maybe more of a shocking experience. But the three issues, and you bring them up well, is that first there are blatant copycat apps like this. Then there is apps like recently Zynga made an it's not a clone. It's not the same thing. It's not copying the icon or the name of Tiny Tower, but it's a similar game. It has a similar theme. You do similar things. So it's basically copying the gameplay, but not the app or the icon. So it's less likely to confuse people, but it might eat into the lunch of Tiny Tower. And then you have things like Stone Loops, which was very different from, I forget, was it Bejeweled who complained, Georgia?
No, it wasn't. It was Lingros.
Yeah, something like that. And that was a company that was big and could threaten to sue and have Apple remove the app where maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe that was unfair competition to threaten someone with a lawsuit when the games were really dissimilar. So yes, it's complicated, but Apple kind of put themselves in that position when they said they'd be the gatekeeper.
Right. I believe it was Zoom. Anyways.
It was somebody.
Yes, it was somebody. It just seems completely unfair, though, in one case. Like Stone Loops, I happen to absolutely adore. I think it was a great game, and they're still out of the App Store. You can only get that if you already had it a long, long time ago, which is too bad, because that was a great game in comparison to these copycat apps that are out there. What do you think Apple's going to be able to do about it, or is there nothing that they can do? They have to wait until a developer complains.
Well, Matthew in the chat room made a great point. He said that Apple let through another 2 tethering apps this week, and they're going to, of course, remove them. But it shows that maybe they need more reviewers. Maybe there are too many apps. Maybe the training for the reviewers has to be better. I mean, I'm not sure, Seth. I'm not sure that there might be a limit when reviewing apps one by one is not tenable any longer.
Yeah, I don't really know what the answer is. I don't know if throwing more people at the problem is really going to solve it. I think it's a matter of understanding what's there and what these apps are trying to do, because it's one of those things that without context, the knockoff app is just an app. You know, if you don't have the thing to compare it to that it's purporting to be, then without that context, the reviewer won't really know. So they'd have to know all of these apps, you know, firsthand, and that's not really feasible for them. So unfortunately, like I said, I don't think throwing more people at the problem is really it. But then again, I don't know what is. I don't really have a better answer right now.
But we still got a lot of good apps this week as well. We didn't get only bad ones.
That's true. And talking about good apps, we have, Leanna did a great write-up on iMovie versus Avid Studio, which is an iPad video editing app. And they're going head to head. She took a look at what was the difference between the two and came up a little bit surprising.
She liked Avid a lot better. I'm going to show off some of her review here, but she found that Avid just had so many more features. And granted, iMovie came out a while ago, and Apple really hasn't updated it that much. But she could do a lot of stuff in Avid that she couldn't do in iMovie. For example, she could bring in the movies that she had synced over, not just the ones she had in her camera roll. She could put titles on top of blank cards, not just on top of video. She found the management was better. They had a montage feature built in. Just all around, she thought it kicked serious apps over iMovie.
And have you used either of them, Seth or Renee?
No, I actually haven't, because the idea of editing video on my iPhone or iPad made me really uncomfortable, because it just seemed like a horribly counterintuitive thing to do. Not to mention the fact that the new iMovie is based on, you know, the desktop iMovie, and I'm one of those people who never quite got over the horrible, horrible mess that is the changed iMovie from iMovie HD.
Back in my day, we had a timeline, and we liked it. So old-fashioned.
You could say what you want, but that last version of that app was the last time that iMovie was an intuitive, friendly Apple app, and everyone since, regardless of how great it's become, really, I can't get into it. I really can't. So, looking at Avid, just in looking at the video that we just saw, looks more intuitive to me right off the bat than iMovie. So I would be more willing to check that out.
What I'm wondering, George, is if, we probably have an iPad 3 event coming up in March. We'll probably have a Retina display iPad 3. I'm hoping Apple, is using what they're developing for Final Cut Pro X, Final Cut X, I forget how they termed it. And maybe will give us an iMovie 2 as one of the apps that shows off that new Retina display iPad 3.
Well, the wonderful choice is that now with Avid, they have a little bit of competition, so there's a greater chance that Apple will think, you know what, let's upgrade this and bring us back to the top.
And the interesting thing is that Avid was the king of big blockbuster movie editing. They did all the Hollywood stuff, and then Apple came out and made Final Cut Pro really cheap, and they got a couple big-name directors to do movies with it, and it started cutting into Avid's business. So it's nice to see Avid bring that battle, coming on Apple's turf, open up the door saying, how you doing?
No, how you doing?
No, I love this. I think this is great for us.
Renee, you love to do note-taking on your iPad.
I have done it in the past, yes.
You've done it in the past. And Leanna also talks about Readdle.
Readle. I got corrected
Readle.
at Macworld. Readle.
Thank you. Readle.
You don't want to have angry Ukrainian developers on you about mispronouncing their company name, let me tell you.
That would be so bad. I'd be like Seth said it.
Yeah. Seth told me it was pronounced Readle.
Readdle. Really? All right, whatever.
Don't you make fun of my Montreal accent.
Readdle.
Yeah, so Remarks, moving right along, is they did PDF Expert, which lets you annotate PDFs, but now they've got Remarks, which not only lets you annotate, but also lets you take handwritten notes. It's not the best at handwriting yet, but they've got this great feature, and you'll see it in the video now, where you can zoom in and get really fine grain control, because no matter how good the graphics are on a screen, you need a lot of multi-touch sensors to be able to determine exactly where you're writing. Maybe the iPad 3 will have more of these, we don't know, but right now it's not a lot of them, so you get kind of big, chunky strokes, but the zoom feature is really nice. The handwriting is not as good as some of the other apps yet, but Leanna's a math teacher, and the idea that she could annotate her students' work, quickly PDF it, and throw it back to them, it had her very excited.
Is it easy to use, though?
Well,
it seems a little bit...
It's nice, like the functionality overcomes whatever difficulty there is in using a tablet. So for example, if you have a big PDF, you can quickly annotate a couple pages, extract just those and email them to somebody. So you don't have to email a giant PDF back and forth. And they're actually getting a lot of uptake from companies. Like they want to deploy it across real estate agents, or they want to deploy it across insurance companies that have to fill out forms. And carrying around an iPad is much easier than carrying around a laptop. So I mean, if Apple had better enterprise distribution, I think this would be a big player in enterprise.
Readle does good stuff. I have a bunch of their apps. They're very good apps. So I'll be willing to play with that.
I agree. And I hate it when I agree with you.
I know you do.
Well, also with iBooks Author, this I'm really excited about because now they have out something, if you don't like the templates that Mac already offers, they have 10 other templates that you can even customize with BookPalette.
That's the thing. I mean, we heard that, and maybe Seth can speak to this, we heard that actually we didn't hear, we saw the initial series of templates. They were good if you wanted to make those specific kinds of textbooks, but there wasn't a lot you could do. There wasn't a lot of variety, and it was difficult to edit them. And this is the first example of a company making templates for iBooks Author, Seth, and I hope that we get a lot more companies making a lot more different kinds of templates soon.
Yeah, that would be cool because then you could really see how this could grow from, the targeted kinds of examples that Apple presented into something that I guess more people could wrap their heads around and really kind of see themselves using. And some of these templates actually, I mean, just the covers that I'm looking at look pretty cool. I would hope that the insides are as slick.
Well, the nice thing is it's customizable. So even if you don't like the template that you have, you can alter it and change it to create something that's completely to your liking.
And we, over the last part of last year, I updated and co-authored these books, iPhone 4S Made Simple and the iPod Touch one and the iPad one. And as soon as they came out, people were like, well, why aren't you using iBooks Author for this? We'd much prefer to have this in iBooks Author. And iBooks Author wasn't out then, but even now, there's not the appropriate templates to do something like that. So I'm hoping that there'll be more stuff so we can have a more variety of all sorts of cool help and how to. I'd love to put our reviews, like if I do an iPhone 4S review or when I do the iPad 3 review, I'd love to be able to throw it into an iBooks Author template and beam it up to Scotty.
That would be nice because it's like a nice long form kind of sit back and enjoy it reading experience.
Absolutely. And it's gorgeous. I said it.
You did. And it would be great. Are you planning on doing that though?
We'll see the utility that Apple provides me. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Everyone head to the Twitters.
Yeah, to the Twitters.
To the Twitters, everyone. We are also doing another giveaway. So on our app picks of the week, which we have a giveaway as well. So how does the giveaway work for that, by the way, Renee?
Oh, we do picks of the week every week. And so this week, Andrew Ray picked the White House app. Seth Clifford, you might have heard of him. He's somewhere over. Picked Zeit Personalized Magazine. So we all go through. iMuggle picks Messages. Ali picked Messages Plus. And you put your pick of the week in the list, and if we pick yours, we'll use it next week, and we'll give you something, a little something.
That's nice. So all you have to do is pick your favorite app of that week.
Yep.
Place it in.
New app, old app, borrowed app, blue app, whatever you like.
One app, two apps, red apps, blue apps.
So now this is the part I want to talk about.
Here we go.
So not only did Georgia get an iPhone 4S, Seth and I had this little contest for her. We wanted to know how long she could go without jailbreaking. Because iOS 5 is good. It is so good that Seth and I, being the lazy bastards that we are, have not bothered to jailbreak since it came out. Georgia, how long did you last?
I think it was 6 days.
6 days.
So we made it from last June
October
to now. No. I'm talking beta too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
That's the whole reason that I don't really feel like it is because I've been using it for so much longer that it's like, there's no point.
6 days.
6 days.
Not even a week.
9 times.
Not even a week. And I have to say, I was honkering for my old phone with all of my different tweaks on it the entire time.
What did you miss the most?
I think that I missed the most...
Not theoretical. I want to hear about the ability to customize and have control over my own... I don't want anything theoretical. What actual functionality did you miss?
I missed Byte SMS.
Okay, fair enough.
Like strongly so. It was just so annoying. I'm like, really? Do I have to leave this and answer someone? And I have to answer people quickly, so that...
Do I have to stop playing my game and actually communicate with a human being in a separate app?
Yes, exactly. Which will take so long. I missed having the ability to theme if I so wanted, though.
No, not so wanted. Have you themed?
I haven't yet.
Then you didn't miss it.
I haven't. I
didn't miss it.
Themed, but I missed the option to be able to.
Oh, whatever.
I saw something that was fair enough, and I missed having my lock info, actually as well. Interestingly enough, though.
So hold on before you continue. So Notification Center wasn't enough of a replacement for lock info.
No, it wasn't.
What did you miss? Was it the ability to quickly preview stuff?
Yes, to be able to preview things, to be able to take a look, to be able to open, to not have to unlock in order to do anything, to take a look through, to write right in there and not have to deal with it. That was really nice.
But that's exactly the stuff Seth and I on Twitter were discussing that we missed.
Yeah, essentially, Byte and lock info were the two things that I critically relied on with a jailbreak, and I kind of let Byte go, and then Notification Center is good enough.
Yeah,
there's so much that I don't like about it, and so many.
It's the Microsoft PC of notifications.
Yeah, well, it's like I said on the last show. I don't have the time to tinker right now, and I know if I jailbreak, you won't even hear from me for a week. I'll just be like unshaven and filthy because I've been playing with tweaks the whole week.
Oh, and
unshavener and filthier, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I was the same way. I was so excited taking a look at all of the different things that we could do, especially some really cool ones that you can do with Siri. I was all over that. But that being said, I have to say when I went back, because it's been a while since I had bought packages from Cydia, the manner of having to buy an application from Cydia is infuriating. Like, I absolutely want to pull out my hair that I have to log in with Google and then I have to log in with
All right, so hold on.
PayPal.
Before you, I want to go over this and savor this. We're going to do this like a Howard Stern interview. So on the App Store, you basically click buy, you put in your password, you click the authorization button, whatever, and the app starts downloading. So is it dissimilar to that, and if so, how?
It's exceptionally dissimilar to that. So here we go. So you find the application that you want in Cydia. You search for it, you find it, you're saying, okay, I want to buy it. So you decide to purchase it. Then it asks you for authorization, you have to log in through Google or Facebook. Now, which one do I hate less? I'm thinking, okay, I don't even have.
Because you don't use either.
No, but I'm stuck with Google. So I log in with Google.
And the reason they do this is because they want to be able to restore your purchases later. So they use this as sort of like an account authorization thing to prove that this is your account.
This is how they authorize
Yeah.
you, yes. And then after that, you get to choose to pay. You have to log in again. Now, the issue with this is that, so I get to the second stage, and if for some reason I sneeze or twitch and press something wrong in my password, I have to start all the way over from the beginning.
So you have, hold on, because we're rushing this again. You have to choose again between PayPal and Amazon, correct? There's two
Yes.
Amazon options, a PayPal
Yes.
option.
Yes.
You pick one, you start entering your credentials, and if anything goes wrong, you don't just get to re-enter your credentials. You go back to go, don't pass, sorry, you go to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200.
Yeah, you could if you went through the entire process and pressed send, you didn't notice that you messed something up, you're going to have to start over again and take a look. Or if you leave the application to take a look at what your password is because you don't memorize it off by heart, which you really should. One password would be great for that. You have to go back through the process. If you leave the application, start back over, take a look at it.
And then you
So,
also
I
mentioned anger about having, even after you've downloaded it, it didn't show up, you had to restore it, and then you had to respring.
I had to respring after all of that situation and then go back to it. So it was just, in comparison to the App Store, very, very frustrating.
Frustrating enough, but not so frustrating that you wouldn't do it. I mean, you wanted the functionality badly enough that you still bought something.
I still bought them, but I was thinking they really need to find a more fluid method of doing everything. And yes, if you feel safe with your phone, you can save that so you don't have to go through the entire process completely all over again.
You can
That's
save
how
it ish.
feel.
I mean, Google has a habit of kicking you out of their services randomly.
Well, yeah, we'll find out how that works out.
And just for clarity's sake, Georgia's explaining this in a very calm manner, but in the middle of the night, I got about 100 incredibly angry iMessages. My phone lit up with Georgia using every expletive in her incredibly classy vocabulary. Not happy at all, and she refused to buy the app for several days afterwards out of spite.
I did. It was so funny. It was in Telescreen X that I was actually buying at the time, and it gives you a 3-day a 3-day trial. And I was so infuriated with the entire process, and I was tired and groggy, and I was like, forget about it. That's it. Screw it. I'm just leaving it. And so, after that, I was like, okay, I'll go back and purchase it properly. So I'll be able to have it.
That's kind of an unwritten rule. Never play with your jailbreak right before bed because
so
things can
frustrated.
go
It was up
so
forever.
south so fast.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and then I was like, what is it? Am I forgetting it? I have to go out of the app.
I want to
find out.
give you
Start
monies. Why won't you take my
the
monies?
entire process again because I had to leave the app to make sure that the password was. I was just gonna pull out my hair. So I sent a whole bunch of angry texts in the middle.
Yeah, I got blamed. Nice.
So yeah.
So in
But-
Telescreen X versus Lock Info, I mean, Ali, I'll put up Ali's video. She did a comparison. She stated her opinion, but you've tried them both now too. What do you think?
I just started with IntelliScreen X, and I have to say I really like it. The interface is beautiful looking. I'm just going to take a look here, and you can, you can zoom around through it. You can open things up right there. It has a nice pull down. You can add widgets to it. You can't do favorites, which you can for Lock Info, so that's a little bit of a difference if you want that. But they're both exceptionally well done. IntelliScreen X hasn't been out for as long. It doesn't function with Byte SMS, so you have a little button at the bottom of the screen for that, but in between the two. I have to say, right now, I'm really enjoying a Telescreen X, so that's what I'm going. But I'm going to download a Lock Info also, and I'm going to test out between the two.
And we'll put Ali's blow-by-blow app versus app in the show notes. But her bottom line was that social integration, social feeds and integration with iOS 5 and Telescreen wins, but Lock Info has is more of a plugin powerhouse. You're more likely to find the plugins that you want with Lock Info than you are with Telescreen X.
Yeah, and I think that Lock Info is it's less customizable, so it's a little bit easier to mess around with things that you might not want to mess around with and to have to take a look at that. But it's pretty good.
Now, Ali also did Byte SMS versus Messages Plus. Did you go right back to Byte SMS, or did you flirt with the other app as well?
I didn't. I'm right back in with Byte SMS. I really like Byte SMS. It works. It's simple. It's easy. You have pictures of everyone. It's cute. So I went straight back into it. So that's nice.
Because it was the devil you knew.
Exactly. In the end, I don't have a lot of time during the day to mess around with different applications. For me, it is really whatever works and works quickly and easily, and I don't have to worry about it.
So you can see Ali there is just the window basically pops up in any app. You can fill it in, pull down your full SMS if you want to, quickly shoot off a message. So you don't have to actually switch between apps the way you do in stock iOS 5 too.
One of my favorite things that I used to pair with Byte was an activator thing where I would push both my volume buttons at the same time, and it would be like a quick text dialogue from wherever you were. So like you didn't even have to swipe or anything, just one click, boom, send a text. I miss that a lot. That was nice.
I agree.
I'd like to also talk about, if I can, I have one of my favorite tweaks right now is for assistant extensions, which is absolutely awesome. Out of all of the tweaks for iOS 5, this one is so sweet because it gives me the hands-free control for Siri, so I can just
Yes.
I can just say Siri.
So it listens for you.
Me. She listens for me. Of course, this is a massive battery drain, so I'll use it during the day if I so want to, but I won't use it all the way through it. And the funniest thing is that I can, if I, talk badly to Siri, she answers a little different. She has
Yes.
Sorry, Siri.
You're teasing her. You keep saying Siri.
Yes.
Did she hear you?
Siri!
Yeah, she did.
Yes.
Stop! Renee, stop it.
Siri! Ah. It's
I don't
beautiful.
see Renee Soffit in your contacts. Did you mean Haley Sullivan?
Nice.
Well, there it goes through all of my contacts.
Siri, call Seth Clifford Bozo.
You're so horrible.
Ah, she's
Okay.
Thanks, Renee.
So
That's
the
really
nice
classy.
thing about let me turn that off before this becomes like
Yes.
complete mayhem. Sorry, Siri. I'm gonna have to turn.
Yes.
No, I'm turning you off. I'm turning you off. Okay, listening services.
I won't be ignored, Georgia.
Yeah,
The
really.
wonderful thing is that you can choose to call Siri whatever you want. So you can choose computer, Hal, Jarvis, or you can customize it. So you could call Siri, purple, blue platypus if you wanted to. And she will answer you if she hears that call word,
Nice.
which is wonderful. You can change. It works really, really well.
You could use like
actually.
German attack dog terms. Schnell!
Right. Right, exactly. Some of the other things that you can do with it is that you can turn off any of your SBS toggles just by speaking to her, which is so amazing. I added one of the extensions so that I can have Siri translate text, translate words for me. So I can say, Siri, why don't I just do it?
Yes.
Translate, how are you doing, to French.
Okay, here you go.
And she doesn't say it, which would have been nice. so
Comment
I-
allez-vous?
I learn how to pronounce it, but it does show you how to do that, and I think it's Spanish, French, German. There might be something else that it will be able to translate with. You can also
Yes.
Siri, change brightness to
That's
10%, and it will change the brightness that you want.
Siri, change brightness to 10%.
She doesn't answer to you. She's my Siri, and I'm getting jealous.
Siri, put her through the airlock. I love this thing. I could remotely kill George over a podcast.
You're just horrible. Plus, you can also change, ask it for what the battery power is, and you can launch applications just by asking Siri to launch whatever application you should so wish. And they're most of the native applications, along with Twitter and Facebook, that it will launch.
Yeah, they have Heath Ledger, very scary Siri on the product video.
And the cutest thing on the video that they have for that is that it has a chatbot along with it. So if you want to launch their own chatbot, let's chat.
Sorry, I don't understand.
One second, let's try that again.
Siri, I want a chip bati.
Let's chat.
Yep. Just a moment, please, until I load my brain.
And then she has her own little chatbot. She's a little bit more sassy, a little bit more friendly, and a little bit more loving to you. So if you want that, it's a lot of fun to kind of play around with. And to enter off, you just say goodbye.
It's hard to find some files.
Siri, I want a Jammy Dodger.
So I think that that's a lot of fun. You can play around with it. And it's nice to have Siri be able to answer you, though.
Wait. I need this.
Oh, Georgia, the chat room wants to know if you can ask her if she wants to play thermonuclear war.
Siri,
Yes?
do you want to play thermonuclear war?
How do we play thermonuclear war?
Let's try it again.
Yes?
Let's play thermonuclear war.
Okay, you go first.
Moscow!
The one funny thing about this is that I ended up forgetting to turn Siri off. And so in the middle of one of my actual sessions, Siri kept on answering me. And I was like, it took 2 times before I figured out, oh, she's beeping because she keeps on hearing me say a word that sounds like Siri. So I had to turn it off during the day too, because in the middle of a very important session, she kept on turning on for me. So yeah, it could be sometimes embarrassing.
I'm as much as I could talk about Siri and how much she loves Scots people all day. We have one other tweak I wanted to mention, and Jared did a hands-on with Zephyr. Zephyr is by CH Pone, and it brings all the multi-touch gestures from the iPad. You know, on the iPad you can swipe between apps and do all sorts of things. So Zephyr does that for the iPhone. I'll just show it to you quickly. I don't think you've played with it yet, have you, George?
No, I haven't.
So basically, you can just set it up to do all sorts of neat little swipes. The only problem with showing off jailbreak video apps is that people end up spending 8 minutes explaining all the settings to you and not really showing off the application that much. But you have a lot of different stuff that you can do with. See if he shows it. So you can basically just swipe between different. Jared, I'm gonna have to cue these more later. But anyway, yeah, so you can see, like, you can just swipe between different applications, so you can not have to use your home button as much. Very similar to the iPhone version. And before we skip to accessories, I know Georgia's dying to get to accessories. Seth, there's this little app from this tiny developer you've probably never heard of, David Barnard from AppCovey, called Launch Center. And it is becoming damn close to being just like quick launch for iPhone. It's this little app. You can even put it in your dock if you want. You tap it and you can assign all sorts of URL shortcuts to things like call this number, SMS this person, go to this app and set up this part of the app. I mean, I don't know if you've had a chance to play with it. And Apple won't allow them to do cool things like change the brightness or do any setting stuff anymore. Apple has made that verboten. But for apps, it's kind of miraculous. It's getting really impressive.
Yes, I've had a chance to play with it.
Who are you talking to, sir?
It's really good. I bought it immediately when he released the first version of it, and this latest update actually adds some really, really cool features. One of the nicest things that I'm doing with it is I put a shortcut in to go to Instagram and immediately launch the camera instead of having to wait for the whole thing to load and then tap the camera tab and wait for the camera to load. And then there's another one I have for searching 1Password. So if I go to 1Password and I need to look at, like, you know, one of the other tabs, that's fine. But if I know I'm going to look for a login, I can just tap it and it immediately launches 1Password and drops the search field down, which, of course, yes, I could find the app and tap it and then pull the tab down myself, but it's just nice that it's like so quick. And there's some built-in stuff that's really cool too. There's a built-in tweet, there's a built-in post to Facebook, there's a flashlight, there's, launching websites, speed dial, text message.
And you can customize the hell. I mean, there was one that he posted yesterday where he set an alarm to launch Launch Bar. So he used Launch Bar to launch itself. So, for example, you could wake up in the morning, have your alarm go off at 8:30. Launch Bar will launch at 8:31. Have your app ready for you to hit the button and do something. I mean, it's just it's clever.
I really am excited to see where he takes it because there's so many things I want to do with it, and I know that he'll be limited just based on what stock iOS will let you do and what Apple's rules will let you do. But it's on a good path, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So yes, well done, App Cuppy, well done, David. Get this app. All right, Georgia, what have you got for us this week?
Well, can I go through the accessories, my two that I want to take a look at?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Seth or I could ever stop you.
Yeah, really.
It's polite that you make us think we have a choice.
Well, okay, so we're going to take a look at, we've reviewed two different kickstand cases for your iPhone. I have to say, even though both of them are a little bit clunkier, I love them. And I don't like clunky phones, but because the kickstand's so useful, I've kept them on. So we'll take a look at both of them. I'm just going to pop my phone out. Both of them are easy to take your phone in and out. I found that I've broken a lot of nails as I review different types of cases for your iPhone, which I don't really like. So here we go.
Just to get us on the right page, so one is the Casemate Pop case with stand, and one is the Incipio Acrylic with kickstand.
Yeah, the kickstand. So first, let's take a look at the Incipio Acrylic.
Say that again.
I'm sorry, I'm sick, so it's really hard for me.
No, I want to hear you say it because I say acrylic.
You say acrylic?
Like silly acrylic.
Yeah, acrylic.
Okay, cool.
Do I said it funny?
No.
So the nice thing is that, as with always, Incipio always gives you a screen guard, so that's wonderful. And it comes in like two little tiny pieces. Now, you can either love or hate this. I have to say, this I found was a little bit excessive, and I hate having to put it onto my phone. It seems like trying to stick a wetsuit that doesn't really fit on, your iPhone's hot body. Here we go. So you kind of put it on, and then you place your phone into the case. Now, it takes a good deal of kind of like squeezing so that it doesn't look like a complete mockery when you put it on, but it's definitely going to be more protective than it is for the Casemate.
So the Incipio gives you more protection, but the case, I'm trying to figure out the difference here. Which one do you like better, George? I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, here we go. I like the Casemate better because, one, it goes on and off with, even though it has the rubberized, it goes on and off as one complete set. And two, the kickstand is better in that for the kickstand of the Casemate Pop, you can change the degree of angle and you can put it both horizontal and vertical. For the Incipio, you can really only put it down into a horizontal view. You can't really use it vertical way.
So the Incipio has more protection but less utility, and the Casemate has less protection but more utility.
More utility, and it's easier to take on and off because you don't have the little, rubberized suit for your iPad, for your iPhone that happens to be with that. So
right now you're recommending the Casemate.
I love it. Even though it's huge and I review so many cases, I'm keeping this case on because I can just leave it propped up anywhere and watch things, look at things, or not have to worry about something. So
you've actually had it on for over a week. I was shocked because you usually have super thin, super shiny cases.
I do. I usually like something that's sparkly, but this is so useful that I've been using it, and I love the fact that with this case, the rubberized feet are on the bottom so that it doesn't make any clicking noises. It's really, really soft, and it sticks to where exactly you want it. And the same thing with the Casemate. They have the same thing for the iPad. Love this as well.
You know what? Also, the Pop to the Casemate. So if you're looking for an iPad, does that go vertical and horizontal too, or is that horizontal only?
No, you can use it, but it's not really it's stable, but it's not as stable because on the back, this one doesn't have a graded type of little notches in the back.
So it's open or closed.
Use it both ways, but you can't really put it at a more upright level, but you can still use it vertical and horizontal.
You know what I kind of want for my iPhone though?
What do you want for your iPhone?
Guns. I want to get them going through here. I guarantee I shoot
Oh,
Seth Clifford in
okay.
iPhone laser tag.
This is the coolest thing ever. Yeah, if you like paintball, if you like laser tag, if you just want to be a cowboy, here we have it. The Zapper guns. They turn your iPhone into your first-person shooter dream machine. This is it. This is it. That's all I
Yeah,
have
these
to
are
say.
hella cool. Let me see if I can zoom in on these suckers. Oops, that's not
Love
right.
them. Brad from the chat room says it's the lamest gun I've ever seen. Well, let me see a better gun on your iPhone.
Yeah, I can't get that proper. But
There we go.
yeah, just the idea. This looks like something out of a James Cameron movie. It's like you're in Avatar, or you're in, one of those silly sci-fi movies. And it's just a cool idea. I loved playing Duck Hunt. I used to play Duck Hunt with Georgia back when we were 3 years old each. It was a lot of fun, and the idea of actually having games like that with the iPhone, I think, is spectacular.
My only thought is that I'm going to end up destroying my iPhone because when I'm running around and shooting things, I get a little bit overly zealous. And even if the phone does not actually fall out of the gun, I'm going to throw the gun at some point, use it to defend myself, or hit it against a wall, and my phone is going to be
Yeah,
destroyed.
you're not playing paintball with Georgia. You're walking, minding your own business. Suddenly, from out of a fresh swamp, you'll see do 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 do. Then you'll turn around and she's folding down from a tree. Do 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 do. I mean, she makes Sheldon Cooper look sane by comparison.
I get a little bit overly zealous into my games of,
Yeah,
war.
Sock Rollins said also be careful because if you take it out the house, the SWAT team might grease you.
I'm in Canada.
Oh.
They'd be like, stop. And then they'd say, I would, and they'd say, please stop again.
Stop, or we'll say stop again. But in where he lives, it might be more like boom, boom, boom. Oh, it was one of them iPhone guns. Damn, again.
Right, exactly. We have some other accessories. So we have another stylus. I actually have this stylus, which is
This is the
a
new
nice
one, though. No, this is the new.
yeah,
this is the new
newer
hotness.
version. I have the older version. I really liked it. It was quite well done, but they have a newer tip on this stylus, which is the rubberized tip. Before it was a foam kind of tip, it was just a little bit foamy. And so I think this tip will be better, and it's a beautiful stylus. Really, really
This is
well done.
10-1
I think
designs.
stylus as well that I'm going to be taking a look at.
They have the Sketch Plus now and the Sketch Pro. But what's actually interesting is that when we were in Macworld, we kept hearing these rumors about these next generation styli. And what they're doing is they're not just making styluses, but they're actually using Bluetooth and a special SDK that you embed in apps. And what that lets them do is start having pressure-sensitive styluses. So the harder you push, the more the stroke increases on your iPad, and the less you push, the less the stroke. So it's almost like using one of those old Wacom tablets or using an actual brush. And we saw one. I'll put up the video, but we saw the one from Jot, the Jot Touch, and these aren't out yet. They're still being implemented. I'm assuming they'll do better hand detection, so your wrist doesn't start writing all sorts of fancy stuff. Let me just put the video up. But this has me interested because this shows that they're just beginning with this technology. Any minute now, Renee? Waiting. Here we go.
Hold, please.
See, he's doing all sorts of different pressure in the strokes. And that was one of the things. I mean, for a while, the iPhone, the iPad, like we said before, it doesn't have a lot of multi-touch sensors. I mean, it has a lot more than most devices, but Steve Jobs never intended it to be a stylus machine. So these guys are doing a lot of fancy stuff on their end to make it work like that.
Is there a little plastic disc attached to that thing?
Yeah, so they do, instead of making a big tip, they make a little tip and put plastic around it so you can see where you're positioning it. Liana did not like that idea at all, and then she tried one.
Yeah, I'd have to try it. It feels mentally weird to me.
Yeah, it seems unusual.
We're gonna do a shootout. We're gonna do a shootout with styluses.
Yeah.
And not like Bullseye from the Daredevil movie where Georgia throws the styluses and tries to kill us with them, but an actual using them on the iPad shootout.
I think that Bluetooth pressure sensitive thing sounds cool, but it also to me sounds like one more thing to become a weak link in the chain of my productivity. Like, oh, I can't get the Bluetooth to work right, the pressure sensitivity, I can't take my notes now. Why didn't I just do this some other way?
So you have a bamboo stylus now, but once you get price sensitive, you'll become so much of a diva about it that unless you have unless you have your green M&Ms and the precise sensitivity you want, you're going to refuse to use it.
How did you
No,
know that Seth was a diva? It's so true.
that's actually kind of a misnomer. I'm really not a diva. I just find things that work for me and then I continue to use them until they stop working for me.
This hammer worked for me in 1955, and I reckon it'll work for me in 2005. I don't need your fancy laser hammer.
Laser hammer.
We also went through some different modifications, and some different things that you can use. So we did we got a Thirsty bag when we bought the rear transparent panel from iFixit. So we reviewed how you would use a Thirsty bag, why you might want one.
What is a Thirsty bag?
Well, if you drop your phone in the toilet, if you've ever had the propensity to do that,
Jerry Hildenbrand.
or any other water source, this is a bag that you can put your phone in and it will absorb all of the water at a much faster rate than just using regular rice, which you could also use. And then you hope and pray for 24 hours, open up the bag, turn on your phone, and hopefully the phone works.
So this material will, so basically I don't know the fancy chemistry that you people use when you describe silicate gels and whatnot, but it will literally suck the moisture out of your device and into itself. There's probably some sort of osmosis going on there.
Something like that, yeah. So it just absorbs all of the humidity, and that will help your phone dry out at a faster rate. Hope and pray. And you can actually put the stuff that's inside the Thirsty bag into a large Ziploc bag if you want to use it for that, and you can still use it. So that was nice.
Now, the only thing about this, Georgia, and tell me if I'm paranoid or not, but you actually have to think about it and get this beforehand. Like, you can't just order one off the web after you've dropped it in the toilet, right?
No, the first thing you should do is take it out of the toilet. Then you should make sure that your phone is off, and then you have to remember where you've even placed the bag if you had been smart enough to buy one beforehand. So if not, just grab a whole bunch of rice, shove it into a bag with your phone, and hope and pray.
But if you are of the clumsy nature, or if you're a big fisher, or you live near the water, your house has a leak, it probably behooves you to get a couple of these and keep them in storage.
Clay says just keep one next to each toilet.
You laugh, but you're only ever one clumsy movement away from having Kathy Lee Gifford's servant get you fish your phone out of the toilet.
I've been really close to dropping my phone into the toilet because I sometimes keep it in my pocket. I rarely do, but I sometimes keep it in my pocket, and then...
One of my old bosses back when I was in Enterprise Software bought his shiny new iPhone 3G the day it came out and then went fishing. Reached down to put the boat in the water. iPhone fell out of his pocket into the lake. Second day. Yes, he almost cried.
Now, did he jump in and get it?
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah, and then they actually took it apart and carefully polished every lead inside the thing, and it worked.
Very cool, though he could have just waited for 24 hours.
Well, he did, but it didn't work after that. So like the buttons were funny, so he did a whole operation on it. But you don't want to do that. You want to act as fast as possible.
We also did the transparent rear panel modification to the iPhone, which is really cool in that you can see all the backing, all of the cool parts of your iPhone and how beautifully it was put together.
Yeah,
so you can take a look.
The Bondi Blue iMac of modifications. You can look at the guts of the machine.
Exactly. And though the modification itself is exceptionally easy to do, unfortunately it was slightly off with the screws in the back. So when I did it, the screws stuck out a little bit, and I tried to redo it like 3 or 4 times. Still stuck out a little bit from the edge, so that's the only problem with this modification. I was a little bit disappointed in that.
And some people asked if we got, because the AT&T GSM one is different from the CDMA iPhone 4S one, and they asked if we got the right panel, and according to the shipping invoice, we did.
It seems to, and it was very close. It was just slightly off, like I would say by a fraction of a millimeter, but just made it so that the screws would stick out just a touch, and because of that, I don't have that mod on my phone.
Yeah, no, it's still cool though.
It's very, very cool, and I'm pretty sure that the people at iFixit would resend another phone if it was defective in any way, but again, I have to do so many different mods, I'm just leaving it out.
Speaking of which, you know what I'm waiting for, right?
I know!
The glowing Apple logo mod.
Yes, I apologize. I was hoping to do it this week, but I was vastly ill. So right after the show, I'm going to be modding my 4 right after. So here it is. Sorry, I was ill, but I'm going to be doing that right now. So you can, I'm going to have to download tweet, but you can tweet me or email me some support in hopes that my phone does not melt on me.
So, I mean, some people, I mean, Ali Kazmuha, who does a lot of, she actually repairs iPhones for a living, told you not to do this. She said that it'll put too much of a power demand on your phone.
She did, and I can assume that it would be quite a power drain. But one, I don't really care. I'll just plug in my phone. And two, you can always take it apart. This modification, though it is a little bit more intensive, was not as difficult as, say, changing the front plate of your phone. It's much easier than that, and nothing is actually going to be soldered together. It's all done through double-sided sticky tape, so you can just take it apart if you wanted to.
So you have an undo button.
Mostly, we'll see.
I don't know, Seth. Do you wish her well, or do you think she's going to burn in hell?
Oh man, I wish you all the best with that. I really do. But
I love it.
That's outside of my comfort zone.
I think you're wearing a Venom shirt tonight. Georgia's going to help you with this.
Yes, exactly. It's my dark side. So, Seth, would the problem be actually putting it together properly, or would it be the after effects of your phone melting or setting fire to your house?
Well, there's always that phenomenon when you're good at taking things apart and you're confident that you take it apart and all the screws are laid out perfectly and you've kept track of everything and everything is neat. And when you put it back together, it's just not right. You know, there's an edge that wasn't there before.
There's a screw left over. There's only two of them, and you got a screw left over.
Yeah. So there's always that. But I mean, ultimately, anything that's going to decrease from the functionality of the device in favor of some kind of bell/whistle is probably not really.
I thought we were going to finally go an entire show without insulting our friends over the Android Central, Seth. You just couldn't do it.
You know
Why don't
what?
you just stick an LTE radio in there while you're at it?
Yeah, you can read that however you like. I'm just saying, I don't need this kind of silliness.
Oh, you can't call it silliness, though. It's very cool.
I'm pretty sure I can call it silliness. I'm pretty sure.
He says you fly, Georgia.
It's kind of silly.
It's a glowing. Do you know if Apple had not even improved the iPhone 4S in any way, if there was no better camera, no better processor, and no Siri, and no better antenna, if they'd put in a glowing Apple logo, they would have sold twice as many as they sold last quarter?
I would have bought one.
Seth, you scratch the surface of people, what do you find? More surface.
More surface, yeah.
Like shame is a good thing to have.
It's so true. So true. It's all about the look for me.
So right after the show, you're going to do this, you're going to videotape it, and we're going to slap it up on the site, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, it's on.
It's on. So wish me luck with that.
Oh, Master in the chat room, quoting Obi-Wan, says that there is no such thing as luck.
Right. Do or do not.
There is no try. Luminous Apple logo it is, not this crude matter.
Yeah, though I think that's Yoda, but...
Yes.
So.
Oh, they're essentially the same characters. It's not like George Lucas had a broad pen to draw with.
Well, that being said, I think that we have made it through to our second App and Accessories live show.
Did we finish before the Super Bowl?
No.
So our numbers are suddenly going up.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, with that, thank you so much, Seth, for joining us and missing out on the Super Bowl. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for having me. That's okay. I'm not a super big football fan, so I'm cool.
Okay, cool. And Renee, Seth, sorry, how do we find you? So sorry about that. How do all the people that want to stalk Seth find him?
You can find me on Twitter at Seth Clifford. You can find me on the iMore shows and on Iterate with Renee and Mark Edwards of Bajango. And if you'd like to see some of the work we do, the apps and sites that we build, please visit our website. It's nfidm.com. We are Nickelfish.
Yes, you are.
We're still working out what the subtitle is going to be for 2012.
Blowing minds since 1905.
And Renee, how do we find you? And thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm privileged. I'm privileged amongst all others.
And how do we find you, Renee?
You can find me at Renee Ritchie on Twitter, plus Renee Ritchie on the Google Pluses. You can find me at imore.com, or you can find me at mobilenations.com.
And I'm Georgia. You can find me on Twitter at GeorgiaTIPB. You can also find me on the website, www.imore.com. And you can reach all of us on Twitter at imore. You can also email us at podcast@imore.com or leave a comment when the website or the show goes live. We are also here every Sunday night from 6 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and of course our companion show, Renee.
iPhone and iPad Live.
Same bad time, same bad channel, Wednesday nights, www.imore.com/live.
You bet your apps.
For all our podcasts, audio and video, including iPhone Live, iPad Live, Zen and Tech, and Super Functional, Iterate, Girls Gone Gadgets, and many more. See mobilenations.com/shows. And if you haven't already, please subscribe in iTunes and leave a rating. It helps people find the shows and means many less than threes to us. Thanks.
I can see George's eyes going, could that outro be any longer?
Thanks to the I'm More Accessory Store for sponsoring the podcast. It's just hard to keep the breath when I'm so sick. Thanks, everyone.
Nice. I could play Kevin's video right now if you wanted.
I would love
man,
to.
it was
That's
so funny.
So awesome. It's the part where he rips off his shirt in all Hulk greatness.
The shake weight did it for me. That got me.
Oh God, that was so funny.
There was
It's
some
all of a
celebrity
sudden-
doing that on Ellen this week. I forget
And
who
I
it
was
was,
like,
though. Some
really?
lady.
It wasn't like, a man has actually bought one of these. Like, wouldn't you only see women buying the shake weight?
People actually asked him if he just bought it for the video, and sadly, no. He watches.
Should have lied.
He watches a lot of that stuff.
I was
Alright.
chuckling up until that point, and then suddenly he grabbed that, and I just lost it.
Get the kids out of the room.
Hey everybody, Kevin here for Crackberry.com, Mobile Nations. It is day one, February 1st of Mobile Nations Fitness Month. That's right, 28 days of getting in shape. The New Year's resolutions are over. This is when we got to get serious so we stay good for 2012. If the world is ending this year, I want to look good in that casket come 2013. I guess the world's over, so I'm screwed either way, but whatever, you know what I mean. My diet for this month, my plan, couple things. Cut out sugar, eat healthy, make sure I work out every day. I like working out. More importantly, I'm gonna do the sexy and you know what diet, which means, or workout plan, which means I'm just gonna put this song on repeat and all month long I'm gonna work out and dance because, I don't know, it seems like the funny thing to do here. So let's get to it.
I'm in the speedo trying to tan my cheeks. This is how I roll. All ladies, it's time to go. We had to the vibe and no shoes, no shirt, and I still get service. Wow. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I'm sexy and I know it. Ay. I'm sexy and I know it. Check it out. Check it out.
Stay tuned, it's gonna get in shape over the next month and then we don't get in shape. We're getting in shape.
Check it out. Check it out.
Oh yeah.
And I still get served.
Can you read that? I typed this while running on a treadmill. Do that, iPhone. Woo! That's right, boys and girls. Keep it locked to Crackberry.com and all our Mobile Nation sites this month. We're going to be checking out all the hottest apps, accessories to help you get the most out of your working out, your health, using technology. That's it, man. Kevin out. Let's keep working out because I got to get sexy and I know it. I'm out of breath.
props to Kevin for putting that up there.
I thought that was awesome.
That's the
I
reason
cracked
YouTube
up
was
so
invented.
much.
That and cats on
Seriously.
pianos.
So good.
All right. I think we have a post-game show to do. They're going to name Georgia MVP again. Totally perfunctory. Seth's going to run on a stage, grab the trophy and run out. It's going to be a thing.
I'm gonna run up and be like, Georgia, I'm gonna let you finish, but
But I've been podcasting since 12.
Exactly.
no, Sock, I'm not doing a sexy and I know it video. That's completely
done.
out of the question.
It's been done.
Seth is going to do I'm Too Sexy for my podcast video.
You can go watch. Actually, Seth did a video for us before he came on the podcast. It is brilliant. You can probably still find it on the YouTubes.
Yeah, it's still
We
up.
have
I left
we
it
have
there.
to find that video.
He blew up a Death Star for us, man. If that doesn't say love, I don't know what does.
Yeah, if you want to go watch that, I think it's probably called something like Tippy Podcast Audition or something like that. Just go look for my name. It's I only have like 4 videos up there.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. Seth.
Yes. And it's also funny if you ever find the Nickelfish videos page to see what those people actually do when they're supposedly developing apps.
Oh yeah, most of those I think they went up to Vimeo. So you have to either look on Facebook or search on Vimeo. I forget.
First prize is a gold watch. That's all I'm going to say. Second
You've
prize
been
is
carrying
a
that
pair of
around,
steak knives.
around with you since the war, Renee.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why I'm
not
so uptight on the
gonna ask where.
podcast.
Not going to ask where.
All right, are we about done with this show? Because I got a whole lots of sick to be.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. Seth, thank you for putting up with us, derelict, bug-infested, virus-ridden units.
That's okay. I've got the whiskey and I've got hand cleaner, so I'll be okay.
All right, guys, have a good night. We will be back on Wednesday.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Quarterback is toast.